I'd like to have a talk now about organization. I'm going to do this in separate sessions. This first one's going to look at the organization overall. Now, we need organization from a point of view of roles and responsibilities. People need to know what they're doing within your project, what they're responsible for, and also what they're actually accountable for. They're responsible for getting certain things done, but they're also accountable for certain aspects of the project. And we'll have a look at that in a couple of other sessions as well. The main thing here is, remember, we're talking about projects, and one that sets a project above doing normal product delivery is the governance in place. The key aspect of that is about the governance, and about making sure, first of all, that the build of the solution is going in the right way, that the business see it working and what they want from their vision point of view at the end. And that's primarily around two things. One is realizing the beneficial change that they anticipate to come out of this project. There's a reason why they set it up. And also to look at the investment in the project, the return on their investment at the end of it, and sometimes even during the project too. So the governance is there for them to monitor it. Remember, point is, this is a business project. In general terms, these are business projects because somebody is paying for it from within the business and organization. If you've had a chance to look at this session we did on the organization and looking at operations and project environments, it talks a lot more about the relationship there too. But we repeat that and sort of remind as we go through different sessions anyway. So, one of the interesting things to note here, first of all, is that within projects, there are 4 different types of interests within the project, 4 different interests, if you like. And these are the business interests, because obviously business project, we have business interests, right? Their key understanding of the project. We have a technical support supplier interest. So we have a technical, and I'd use that carefully, remember, technical supplier interests. And also we have, as a third one, a management interest, all right? And of course, that key area there is the realm of our PM, right? I say PM, remember, this is portfolio, program, and project managers. But from a project perspective, obviously, that's the PM. The fourth one is the general process of things, right? The general process, where we have people who are supporting the project, but not part of the actual project itself. So they're there as the process part. A bit like workshop facilitators, for instance, coaches, any other human resource support that comes into that. PMOs, for instance, might be having interest in that particular area, not part of the project, but they will be there as a background to support some of that information. So these are the interest areas. So we'll put that down here. These are the interests. Right? Now, we have 3 main layers in projects too. And it's very important to understand what they are. 3 main layers in projects. We have the project level, and this is really around the decision and helping to support the project. So it's about decision making here and direction, right? Decision and providing direction for the project at a business and a project level. The overall guidance in it. So their involvement is quite a lot less than usual, than the people down doing the build work, and some parts of the business who get involved in that build work as well. So level is about providing decision and direction. The next level is the supplier stroke build level. Supplier tech build level, right? And this is where the guys are actually doing the work. So this is where we're actually carrying out the developments. So this is where the development work, development, evolutionary development, build, doesn't matter how you're doing it. The point is, this is where we're actually going to put the project together at the build level, okay? And then we have one other area, and that is the support level. Support level, this is where we have people who are not involved directly within the project, or full-time in the project. We had advisors, for instance, we had advisors in here. We can have people like workshop facilitators. So we have put in facilitators, coaches, PMOs, whatever, back office, whatever it happens to be, HR, anything that's supporting that. And some of the times these areas too are other stakeholders within your project, like HR managers or people managers themselves who have resources on your project, but they're not part of the project, but they have a resource on your project. So they're part of that support, you could argue as well, but they're certainly stakeholders in this case. So all these are all stakeholders, and then there's a broader picture of stakeholders. We're looking at that in a separate session. If you look at that too, that'll give you an understanding about stakeholder engagement. More important to stakeholder engagement rather than stakeholder management, you know. It's much more intuitive. So from an organizational point of view, we have governance in place because we're running a project. We need to understand the project's going to go in the right direction for build the right solution, because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that realizes the beneficial change they want and it's worth the investment and gives them the return that they need from a business perspective. So therefore, underneath that organization, we have people who represent the business from the point of view of funding, representing the users and the customers overall about how the build is going from those aspects. We have the people doing the builds for us, technical suppliers, whatever you want to call them. We have management who are managing this project through primarily the project manager in this case, team managers as you wish, they're the main ones. And then we have the process who are people who are supporting it but not part of the main team. And then the project levels. Now, when we look at the other sessions, I'll be giving a label to the different areas and the different roles that we have. But I like to bear in mind that the label is just a label, right? It's like the bonnet on a car, it's just a bonnet. What really matters is what's underneath the bonnet, i.e. the engine in this case, but in our case, it's really what's important is about the role and responsibility of that particular role, the roles and accountability, responsibility and accountability of that particular role. Bit of a tongue twister there, really. And that's what is important. And it's always relevant to your particular project as well. And therefore, when we're looking for resources, it's about the ones that will fit that particular requirement for that particular role. Right. In a session when I looked at Scrum, I was talking there about the Scrum Master and the product owner, because there are a lot of people talking about, well, Scrum Master, how does that fit into a project? Well, it doesn't. The Scrum Master has particular responsibilities and accountability from a Scrum aspect. So that is not a role here, it's a Scrum role, right? So don't try and marry them up. What is important is the person who fills that role. What attributes, experience, capabilities do they have and knowledge do they have that can fill the need of a Scrum Master role? And in our case, for instance, a project manager's role or a developer's role or a business type role. And that's what really matters. So when we look at that, it's about the person fitting that role and what that role has for your particular delivery aspect. In this case, we're going to look at projects. So do bear that in mind as well. All right. Now, size of roles and size of teams can all depend on the project as well. But it's just important to understand that we have these different interests and the different categories within projects throughout that make up the project team. I don't want to call it project management team, it's the project team overall. Okay. And then there's the broader stakeholder community around that. So just bear that in mind when you're looking at, we're going to look at these roles at project level, these 3 different levels, or 4 different levels, I should say, really, in more detail in other sessions.